Hi, I'm Jerome, prosperity coach, miracle mentor, inspirational speaker, and founder of Master Your Life Academy. And I want to introduce you to a speech I did for Networking Room. And in this speech, you're going to hear my journey with my near-death experiences and what the questions were that every single one of us ask ourselves when we're dying, as well as what I learned in the journey of my recovery. You see, life is to be lived full out. You're intended to deposit your riches in your life now so that you die empty. Find out how to do that in this next segment. So my name is Jerome, and I'm a prosperity coach, miracle mentor, and founder of Master Your Life Academy. But before I tell you a little bit about what I do, I want to tell you how I got here. In 2004, I came face to face with the three questions everyone asks themselves when they're dying. I was in Washington, D.C. On New Year's Eve, I had a stomach ache, a fever, and I just felt all the way terrible. And I called my mom and asked her a little bit about my symptoms. She said to go to the hospital. So I did, on New Year's Day, 2004. And as I was in the emergency room, waiting for the doctors to bring back my lab test, something very strange happened. They brought me the telephone. And on the telephone was my mother, and she was crying. And something I need you to know about my mother is a medical doctor. And all of my life, my mother was the source of peace, of strength, of comfort when it came to hospitals and illness. But this time, she was sobbing uncontrollably. And she said, "I will be there in the morning." And she hung up. And I knew then that my stomach ache, that my fever, that my ickiness was a little more than I thought it was. And then the team of doctors came and surrounded my hospital bed, and they told me that I had kidney failure, pancreatitis, pneumonia, anemia, 20 pounds overload fluid on my body, a fluid-packed lung, and just to top off this delicious smorgasbord, I had a parasite in my stomach. And they surrounded my bed even closer, and they said, "Son, you have about 7 days to live." And then they told me to get my affairs in order, and they left. And I was surrounded by the darkness that only a hospital room can give you when you're by yourself. And I was faced with those three questions. Did I live enough? No. You see, I had dreams deep within me that I hadn't yet allowed to see the light of day. Had I loved enough? No. You see, there were people in my life who didn't know yet how I truly felt them. And more importantly, I didn't know how I truly felt about myself. And had I really mattered? No. You see, the purpose that I was given here to deposit in the world, I had yet to do so. I had yet to leave the world a better place than when I found it. So I made the decision right there and then that I couldn't die. You see, I simply did not want to die with my music still in me. I wanted to go being able to say yes to the fact that I lived enough. Yes to the fact that I loved enough. Yes to the fact that my life mattered. Well, I have been a student of the law of attraction and great nutrition and all of those great things. So I began to put what I was studying into practice. A month later, I walked out of the hospital. 2 months later, I was fully recovered. And life was great until it wasn't. And it wasn't just a year later when I found myself back in that same hospital. In that same hospital room with those exact same doctors with the exact same diagnosis. And I knew then that I had learned, like the quintessential college student who has a big exam and crash courses the night before. And he's able to regurgitate the information so that he's able to pass the test, but he can't recall the information later. And so I made the decision, not just that I was going to live this time, but I was going to learn fully so that I could thrive this time. I was not going to be settled with just surviving. I was going to thrive. So 3 years later, and 300 dialysis treatments later, I was fully recovered. So I stand here today, living my dreams, loving what I do, and sharing my story. And I want to tell you a little bit about what I learned about how not only I could live enough, love enough, and matter, but any of you in here can do the same. So live more. Life is calling you to play full out, no longer idle on the sidelines, but totally in action in the field. And you cannot be in action in the field if you're continuing to press the snooze button on your life. Write that book you've always wanted to write. Oh, not now. Do that business, the one that's in your heart that you love to do. Oh, not yet. Get up and go to the gym and lose that weight so you can be in that sexy body you've always wanted. And then you just pick up the alarm and you throw it across the room. But every time you tell yourself, not yet, not now, and not me, you are taking years off of your life. And you are depriving your soul and your body of a very vital nutrient that it needs to survive. You see, our bodies are magnificent creatures. They give us signals for the nutrients we need in order to survive. When we're hungry, we need food. When we're thirsty, we need water. But when our soul is asking for our dreams, that is one of the most important nutrients, right up there with air, food, and water, is fulfillment and growth. And if you are depriving yourself of the fulfillment and growth that your soul is calling for, the grave will be calling for you even sooner. Love more. In the end, what will matter the most is how much you gave the love in your heart and how well you were able to receive that love in return. And the person you are supposed to give that love to the most and receive that love from the most is yourself. You see, that's what it's all about from serving from your overflow. That's the whole science behind the oxygen mask in the airplane. Put your oxygen mask on first before you can consider putting anybody else's on. Because if you don't give yourself the love that you have, you will never have enough to give to somebody else. And you will never have enough to thrive on. So love yourself first. Love others afterwards. And live a life that matters. Maya Angelou says, as you get, give, as you learn, teach. For each of us is here to live an experience, not just for our own lives, but for the lives of others. Because we are all interwoven, interconnected in this grand tapestry called life. And your lessons, your experiences are not just for you, but for all those that will come after you, so that their journey will be just a little bit easier than yours. Life will give you lemons, but it is your job to make lemonade and then to serve that lemonade to others. Because no picture of lemonade is healthy enough just for you to drink all on your own. This is about creating a legacy. This is about living the world a little better than what you found it. So here I stand now, living my dreams, loving the life that I live, and loving myself even more than that, and serving my lemonade, so that the next time I face those three questions, I can answer hell yes to the fact that I lived enough, hell yes to the fact that I loved enough, and hell yes to the fact that my life damn well mattered. What about you?